It's on? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Diane Carol Bailey. Don't confuse me with the singer, because I'm not, okay? Um, I am with the Natural Hairstyling and Braid Coalition. Uh, woo, girls, this is not easy being a senior, honey. Yes, I do. Yes. Um, we are here really to encourage you to stay the course, get the education you need, provide for your families, take those vacations, live your best life by doing natural hair and braiding. It's as simple as that. Um, we have a partner here that I've known for, so we don't tell our age, but I would say about at least 30 years. I've been in the industry, yeah, I've been in the industry 42 years. I know. I'm saying, what? She only looks 42, right? It's okay. My purpose and our dream is for you to create a career for yourself as well through the licensure of natural hair styling and braiding. And that's what this is about. It's dollars and cents. There's millions of dollars to be made, and why shouldn't you make a portion of that, right? Why shouldn't you have your own house? Why shouldn't you have your own car? And provide for your family a lifestyle that is ingratiating and pleasant and rewarding. And so this is not just about hair care. This is about the concept of how you think about yourself and actually walking in a straight path to success. And one of the steps, one of the major steps that I believe, and we'll talk about this, we have an agenda here, is licensure. I want to introduce my partner, Deborah Herbe. You want to come up and introduce yourself?
Welcome, everyone. I spoke to you all as you all came in, so thank you that you decided to come here and spend some time with us. As Ms. Bailey said, this really is about providing an opportunity, the steps to opportunity for natural hairstyling and braiding, right? There is a path. We've created a full path, and we didn't just create that. This path was created since 1993. I don't know how many of you know that. New York is a licensed state. We've been a licensed state since 1993. Ms. Carol, Diane Carol Bailey, wrote, and you'll see it back there, the first book, which is a textbook that is used for the curriculum, right? So hopefully today you'll understand the path. We're updating it as we speak so that it is something that is not preventative, but inviting. So that as Diane and I have decided to focus on natural hair, you will too. But with the understanding that there's science in hair. So it's more than hairstyling, it really is about the health and safety and well-being of the person that's sitting in your chair. Okay, so I hope you find what we have offered for you today interesting, exciting, and then you want to join us, okay?
So while we're waiting for that, let me just ask you a question. How long have you been doing hair, natural hair?
I've been doing natural hair over 25 years.
Okay,
My name is Nefer. I'm from Sheni Nefer.
okay.
Salon. I started it in like 25 years ago. Like you said, I was able to raise my children. I was able to buy a house, car, doing natural hair. I'm here today because I have young women under me that I would like for them to look into this. And even myself with the licensing and things like that. So I'm very, very interested.
So then that means you want to be a member.
Oh,
That's what you want, girl.
I do.
All right.
And the other thing is I'm in the room with greatness.
Yes.
I don't know if you ladies know how great these women
I
are.
thank you. I'm getting chills. You know, when you love something so much, you want to share the goodness. Like it's like when your mother makes a piece of cake, you want everybody to taste it. That's who we are. That's who we've been. And so the industry has given us this platform, and being here today, we have a platform to engage you. You ask the questions you need to ask, but you can't skip steps. You got to take the steps that you need to succeed. There are no skipping steps. There's no magic wand. What's your name?
My name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. So I
Pleasure.
recently graduated college, and I'm looking to do hair like just as something on the side. I started like doing my own hair in like 2020 during COVID, and then I started doing like friends, family. So I don't
Okay.
have like an established business. I just do it like at home. But I'm
Okay.
curious to learn more how to like build.
I started at home.
Okay.
I, st- I started at home. I started at home. I, it was at home, you know, and it was good. You know why? Because you build your base from home. So when I left home, I had over 300 clients already. There was no computers. I had them fill out a form and I kept it in a file. Simple. There wasn't any of this stuff going on. Just simple documentation. So good for you. And pass it on for, and tell us about you and your name.
Hello, my name is Najesti,
Majesty.
and born in Brooklyn all my life. And I'm a mom, a wife, and in 2009, I, due to a dream, I developed, just say, formulated a product, and our brand is called Butter Me Essentials, and we're trademarked, registered, everything. And I have four girls and one boy. And I've been doing hair all my life, not licensed, but just doing hair. I love doing hair. I love making people look beautiful. But due to our brand, I make formulas for hair care and skin. And I do realize that a lot of people my color, they do not know how to take care of their hair. So um, making hair care products for them just made it such a beautiful thing. And I'm also a herbalist, but I've been doing my church sisters' hair and helping their hair grow, and also doing consultations with my customers, or I should say clients, for my hair care brand to help them grow their hair, because I meet up with a lot of customers that they deal with internal problems. So sometimes they just think they want to buy a product, and it's actually internally there's things that's going on. So coming to the class or this gathering, the information, I do not know the ladies like how you know, but it seemed like I have stepped into a place of greatness, and I wish a lot of more people knew about this, because they guess they missed out on the jewel, and I come in here for the jewel. Thank you.
There's no internet, it says.
My major is science and society, so I'm going to public health. All the viruses going around.
Here we go. Okay. So what do we need to know? New York State natural hairstyling license. So I'll tell you a little story while we're waiting. Sorry. So it was like 1984, 85 when I started believing that we could be beautiful without straight hair. And my mother said to me, "Ain't nobody gonna pay you to do no nappy hair." My own mother. I said, "Well, you know what? I don't care. Because I am not going to spend the rest of my life smelling this nasty stuff and whatever this poison was in, relaxers. I'm not doing that." And so that's what you call conviction. That's what you call living with purpose, right? So you think you're just doing hair. You are not. You are not. I have a degree as well. I went back to college and I got my degree. So that's going to take you all the way up to another level because from the minute that I started my business, I created systems. I created systems. Systems on how to wash, systems on how to answer the phone, systems on how to answer the door. Systems. That's how a business works. It is diagnosed or planned that from the minute she walks into your space to the minute she leaves, there are expectations and there are steps to that. And we're going to be teaching that at some point, so y'all just better get with it. Because the competition is everything. Not just, this braider or that natural hairstylist or whatever, but people who wear weaves and people who wear wigs and all of the things. All of that is in competition to what we do. So yes, you ready? So Deb, you want to take this thing? Oh, thank you so much, dear. Okay. So this is what you need to know. And we want to thank New York Beauty Suites for allowing us to be here and sharing this space today. That's me a couple of years ago. Um, I'll just. Oh, my history. Okay. All right. So I. Yeah, there we go. I'm one of the first people to write the textbooks for natural hair. I wrote the first one, which is this one, and the current one that we use in school now is I wrote that as well. I had some assistants, I had photo shoots, I had other stylists help me with the styling, but this is all me. I was also a brand ambassador for Shea Moisture. I worked for Shea Moisture for 9 years. I traveled all over the world for them, educating people around the product, but more importantly around health and hair care. The product was just part of it. And it was a great opportunity. I've done shows with some of the top stylists, photo shoots, all the things, from Essence to Ebony. I've traveled to Paris, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, all around the world. And it's just braids. That's what people say. "Oh, you just do hair?" Excuse me. Huh? Are you serious? To me, because I got my degree and they were like, "Well, you need to work in the office." So I tried it. No, it was not for me. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. So once you know, you don't let anybody tell you anything different. I started Emerge 9 years ago to do exactly what we're doing. And so when I met my tribe, I still keep Emerge as a company, but I function under the coalition mostly. So that's my little story. Uh, how do I get out of here? Oh, just click on it? Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So NHBC, we're being supported by so many people. As you see, we have logos. I'm one of them. Main Moves. She does television She is amazing. Of course, Deborah Hairbae has International I Love Braids Day, and she'll talk about that. Uh, yeah, we have hair stem and social justice, because we are lobbyists too. We go to Albany and we lobby, right? We are advocates for natural hair through and through. We have Simply Beautiful, Diane DaCosta, who's here today. She's one of our leading members and chair people. Diane, you want to come in and... Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it was. Wow. You can?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
You click here.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, just keep going back.
That, okay, good. Because it's kind of zoomed out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Technical difficulty. It's all good. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so now the next one. Thank you, Lord. There you go. So, NHBC, Diane DaCosta just came in. Just give them a short, brief intro on you so that we can just say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diane DaCosta. I'm a co-founder of the NHBC. I am the EVP of Policy, Legislation, and Advocacy. And I am the author of the book Texture Tresses and a co-author of the Milady Cosmetology Standard textbook.
So I wanted you to know that because, she's humble but brilliant. And so sometimes people underestimate humility as not, okay. So what brings you here today? What brings you here today? No, but what, that,
To learn more.
learn more.
I'm just curious to learn more about like the natural hair industry.
And your licensing. Great, great, great. No, we don't need it. Basically, we're here today to share with you, what happened to this? It goes from there to there? That's one back.
You should be at, the mission, the NHBC mission. There you go.
Okay. Okay, so we're here today. NHBC mission is to elevate the art and science of the natural hair care industry. That's what we're here for. And that's what we do as lobbyists and as activists in the industry. And so you told us what brings you here. You want more information around the natural hair license. True or false? Do you need a license in New York State to braid? True or false?
So first of all, I'm not even going to say, I'm going to be really mad because I already said that earlier and each one of you should get that right.
She
Because I clearly said that.
Yes.
It's a license thing. Since 19, I think you said 1993.
There you go.
Yes. So the answer is true. You need a license, really, to touch another person, but specifically for braiding. We have a license. Yes, for natural hair, but specifically for natural hair and braiding. But the reason why I highlight braiding so much is because it can do the most damage if not done well and not done properly. It can do the most damage. So it's really important that we get that. Why does licensing matter? It preserves legacy of our collective knowledge, culture, and craft. New York State requires nail techs, cosmetologists, and massage therapists to be licensed because they too touch people in an intimate way. It creates a pathway forward to entrepreneurship, and we kind of hit on that before, and financial sustainability. It's an opportunity to address the epidemic of hair loss in the Black community, and we're going to talk about that maybe later if we have time. It establishes your expertise and enhances services, maintaining safety standards. And the key thing is safety standards. And last but not least, embrace services that enhance beauty wellness to protect the health of our community. Because in our community, and we'll talk about this later, there's an epidemic, and part of that epidemic is self-mutilation through braiding. That's what I call it. So, let's see. We matter. We believe black women are worthy and deserving of safe and sanitary services from educated and trained licensed professionals. And that's all we're asking. I don't think that's asking much. It should be fundamental. We have another true and false. Braiding is a safe practice because braiders do not use chemicals, dyes, and do not cut hair. Now, I'm sure you heard this. Is it true or is it false? You, you willing to bet money on it? Well, when I say you bet money on it, because if you believe it, you know, yeah, right? Okay. So that's false, right? Exactly. Um, this question is so loaded. And the reason why we're saying it's a safe practice, what makes you think that it's a safe practice? Because of what? Because you're not using chemicals. So people feel like, oh, my hair is natural, so I can wear braids for as long as I want. Or I can wear, you know, my hair as long as I want. Or I can color it because it's natural, and the color's not going to hurt it because my hair's so strong, right? But in actuality, it is not so strong. Our hair is very, very fragile. With every curvature that it takes, it's a fragile point. So,
Di, can I say something?
yes, please.
So, as a self proclaimed braider, you know, that term safety was always extremely important to me. And I'm going to talk before YouTube University and after YouTube University, right? So, the way that I came into the industry, understanding that New York State was a licensed state, there was such respect, care, honor about the way you serviced your client, right? And so that word safety, we took the precautions. We did the things that we needed to do to make sure that our clients were well protected, could achieve a beautiful hairstyle, and leave having been better for sitting in your chair, right? After YouTube University, I think there was a shift because all of a sudden license didn't matter. It's just braiding, we can do it. And so that term becomes so true because people did not understand the importance of health and safety. Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome. So, what's at the root? What's at the root of this whole industry? Misconceptions and misinformation. Licensing information isn't easily accessible. The lack of educational options. New York State license curriculum is outdated. New York State Board of Exams doesn't reflect the license in review in real time. And Diane DaCosta is going to talk about that more. New York State license does not address language barriers. It needs to be updated so that people who don't speak English, who are braiding hair, need to be able to comprehend it in their own language if they have literacy. And then cosmetology is expensive and doesn't address textured hair. However, Texture Education Act passed in 2023, and all the schools must comply by September of 2026. So cosmetology will be addressing textured hair and some braiding very, very soon. So this is all information you're not going to find. That's why we're here. You're not going to get all this information. No one's telling you this. What is at the root? I don't see the need for all these hours of training when I already know what I want to do is braid hair. Something I've been doing since I was a teenager. Well, we all learn to braid the same way. But this, we did not learn how to care for our hair the same way. Nor did we learn how to keep our tools clean, how to embrace sanitation and hygiene in a way that is safe for your community. So there's things we need to do to upgrade that. Differences in licensing requirements across the country. Now, I just want to hit you with some facts. There are only 12 states that have a license. 12. 37 states do not license natural hair embroiders because they have been deregulated. And some of them haven't been deregulated. Some of them never had a license. Never. Florida and Pennsylvania, they removed their registration requirements for licensing for braiding in 2020 and 2025. So instead of being progressive and seeing a need for license, a lot of states are doing what Florida and Pennsylvania have done and have no license. Now, what do you think that's about? Why is that so, to me, so repugnant and I just can't understand it. I can't understand why some people can be protected by the law, but if you have kinky hair or you have brown skin or whatever, you're not protected by the law. Does that seem right? Does that seem logical? Something's wrong with that. Everyone should be protected, whether their hair is straight, curly, or nappy. But because our hair is so special, we don't need a license, and that's the offensiveness of it. And I know I don't want to get too preachy, but I feel that way. The state of the natural hair styling license in New York State. Diane, you want to talk about that?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, come on.
Is this on? So is this on? I don't know, not that we need it. So these are the statistics since 2022, and as you can see, the natural hairstyling license, 382 stylists are licensed compared to cosmetology. And you can see that there's only 8 schools throughout the whole state. So that is going to contribute to why the number is so low, because we don't have a lot of schools, and most of the schools are concentrated in the New York City area. There might be 2 or 3 upstate, 1 in Long Island, and the rest of them are in New York City. Also, the licenses overall, all disciplines have decreased 5%, except for the natural hairstyling license, right? It's increased 11%. So what does that tell you? There is a huge need for licensing in textured hair, natural hair, and braiding. And we are championing more schools, more licensure, and those who want to get the license to continue to grow, because 65% of the population has textured hair. So if you have 65% textured hair and you have 11% increase in those who are taking the license, clearly there is a demand. So that's why we are here also, to inform you and to let you know all about the license.
Our focus is to preserve legacy of natural hair through education and legislation. Hold this. Thank you. That's what we do. We literally go up to Albany and we knock on doors. We educate the legislators on what is important to our community. Because if we don't tell them, we'll be ignored and we won't get what we need. So That's another reason why we're educating you, because we want you to understand that you cannot be passive. You cannot sit down if there's something that you have to have in your community. This is what it is about. It seems like we're just talking about hair, but it's more than that. So before 1992, um, I'm a licensed cosmetologist because there was no natural hair license. And I was able to go to the state, to Lonnie Kennard with Esmeralda Simmons and Cafe, no, Adamola, and advocate for the licensing in 1992. It was an amazing opportunity for us. We heard that the nail people were going to get a license. So we were like, well, if they're going to get a license, why can't we? And that was so perfect timing. And so it took about, 2, 3 years, but the braiders lobby makers to create a specialty license separate from cosmetology. That was amazing. And then, of course, New York passed the first natural hairstyling license in the country in 1993. And we were a part of that. And it was an honor to be able to do that. And so the New York State Natural Hair Care and Braiding License benefits economic growth and stability, standards of salon protocols and professionalism, stylist and consumer protection, and elevates the art and science of textured hair styling. So that's why the license is so important. Those elements right there. The fact that consumer protection is so key, but also the stylist protection too. Unfortunately, I know several women who worked as cosmetologists and they worked with chemicals. Many of them have passed and some of them have been challenged with cancer. Because there's a link between relaxers and cancer. They're doing studies on it now. But we already knew that because we've been in the industry over 30 years and we know who's been sick and who's not been sick. So that's a really important piece. And also, the other thing I want to talk about is protocols and professionalism. There's so much going on out there that's really ratchet. And unfortunately, the consumer has become accustomed to a certain behavior when being serviced. Stories, I know you've all heard them, where maybe a stylist didn't do their hair properly or there was some miscommunication or discommunication at some point and the client was not happy. And of course, some energy, negative energy became a part of the process of getting your hair done. In no way a professional stylist with a license that has protocol and understands protocol would never allow something like that to happen. But because you don't have that foundation, because you don't have the verbiage and the language and the skill set, negative things can happen. And what we're trying to do is evolve this industry so that it complements our culture and it fits who we are as a people. And it's not just about making money. Of course, the economic reward of it is key, but it's more than that. I'm going to introduce Deborah Herbe, and she's going to do the next presentation. Thank you. You're welcome. This one, babe. No.
This is on.
So how many of you remember Braiding Beauty magazine? Many of you may be too young, but I'm going to ask anyway. You remember Braiding Beauty? Do you? Okay. What do you remember about it? Because that was such a fun time for me. Yeah, when I heard about that magazine, I just started. And as talk to you about. I was so involved in everything braids. I said to myself, there's no way that magazine is going to happen without me having some sort of involvement. So at the time, I said to my PR person, you must get me in, and I don't care how you do it, and I will write for free. And he did. And so I started as a writer. I went from a writer to a columnist to the associate editor. And that is based on not my journalism experience. It is purely based on my passion, my knowledge, and my dedication to a craft that I loved wholeheartedly, right? Separate and apart from that, I created this style for Miss Erica Alexander. I don't know how many people remember Living Single. That yes, that yarn look was something I'm so proud to have created and still work with her today. And I think the most, we talked about my product line, which is still in existence. And that's important to me because I understand what hair requires and needs. And so I have a line of product that is unique in serving textured hair in a way that I think is healthy and nurturing. The thing that's most important to me is it's not up here, but the NHBC. So we're all founding members of the Natural Hairstyle and Braid Coalition, and we'll talk about that a little bit more.
I'll just stay here and do it.
Okay, so we're at true and false again. Braiding is separate from natural hairstyling in New York State. What do you think, true or false? Okay. A natural hairstylist, thank you. A natural hairstylist is is a trusted professional, provides knowledgeable repeat services, protects the integrity of their client's hair, authority in hair loss, scalp disorders, trained in proper hair attention, authority in health, cleaning, and decontamination. And those are some of the things that I talked to you about being a natural hairstylist, specifically a braider. Those are really important. And to conduct your business or even providing a service for your clients, and those things are not part of your daily regimen, Houston, we have a problem, right? Okay. How to become a natural hairstylist in New York State. To apply for a New York natural hairstyling license, you must be 17 years old, complete a 300-hour approved course of study, pass both the New York State written and practical exams, undergo a physical examination, complete a 1-hour course on domestic violence and sexual assault awareness. So just FYI, each one of us are practiced. So when you get to that point, you may very well see any of us there. Thank you, babe. Okay. So, career path for natural hairstylists. We'll start at the top. Hair wellness and dermatology consultant. Ms. Diane Bailey works in a derm's office. Texture specialist, loctician, master braider, braid designer, braid stylist, and braid technician. That was the wonderful thing about me choosing the career that I'm in because I felt like my career path is like a tree, and the tree has all of the branches. And so I've done many parts of this industry, and I've had an amazing career, as each of us had. Textured hair is a billion-dollar industry. Did you all know that? A billion-dollar industry. How much of that industry you think we own? You think we own a billion?
No, we don't own all of it.
Right. It's a billion-dollar industry. We own a very small percentage of it, right? So we hope that as you get more information, you become more inclined to get your license, we can help change that, right? Current U.S. hair care revenue, 2023, is $13 billion. and that's by Fortune Business Insights. Predicted job growth for 2020 to 2030, 19% hairstylists and 8% other occupations. 65%, the majority of US adults do not have straight hair texture. Did y'all know that?
65% have
Texture
curly,
hair.
coily, wavy, afro textures. 65% of the whole population.
So imagine before this, who was dictating how things went? Straight hair. Isn't that odd? The least percent, right? 50% black women in particular are prone to a type of hair loss called traction alopecia, which is growing, unfortunately, rampantly, right? A lot of it is due to traction. A lot of it is part of your DNA. Part of it is medical. Diane Bailey will probably talk
I'll
about that
explain
a little
that,
bit
yeah.
more.
Sure. Let me just explain.
Yeah.
There's two levels of hair loss. There's scarring and then there's non-scarring. And generally, the traction alopecia would be a non-scarring if you catch it early. But it becomes scarring when you do what? Repeat, 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 without rest, without stopping the services of braiding. And so after a period of time, you lose the papilla, which is the core of your strand, and that TA becomes smooth. The skin becomes smooth and shiny, and you do not get your hair back. And right now, I've been working in a dermatology office for 5 years. I've seen women as young as 12 years old with traction alopecia. Scarring traction alopecia. The hair will not grow back unless the dermatologist does a transplant, where they take some of the hair from the back and put it, surgically, literally, in her scalp. So that's another reason why licensing is so important. Because we have to educate the stylist so that she can educate her consumer. So if she's not educated, she can't go back to the community and educate the community. You see how it works? So that's and I'm so passionate about it because I have traction alopecia too. I have several types of alopecia, but you would never know it because I'm educated to be able to camouflage it, and I go to a dermatologist, and I eat well, I sleep right, and I don't have the behavior of keep doing services that continue to pull my hair.
New York salon industry snapshot. 58% of New York salon businesses are owned by women. 58% of New York salon businesses are owned by minorities. Total sales 2020 to 2025 is $3 to $5 billion. Interesting, right? What does that say to you? Just curious, these numbers. Being in this industry for so long, and when you talk about the health and wellness, black women have always been the one leading in that sort of health priority, right? Diane? Industry news. In 2022, the 14th edition of the Milady Standard Cosmetology textbook was fully updated to be inclusive to all hair types and textures. Fun fact, the first textbook dedicated to natural hair and braiding was published by Milady in 1997, written by who? The Diane C. Bailey. I love saying that because it's such a big deal. All right, so hair care professionals comparison chart. So we have career, we have business, we have school, TV and film, and educator. right? So you see check marks going straight across until you get to natural hairstylist slash braider, non-licensed, at-home, stylist braider, business owner. So there is a check mark under business, there is an X under school, there is an X under TV and film, and there's an X under educator, right? So that's just something to sort of mull in your mind over, right? Um, we can't talk about having a license enough. So not only is it beneficial for you, it's beneficial for your community, but it's also beneficial if you plan to take your career further, right? Okay. New York State requirements for beauty suite salon barbershop owners. License, cosmetology, barber, natural hairstyling, nails, waxing, and aesthetics. Right? Is that right? Aesthetics? Yes, thank you. Appearance enhancement business license, insurance, malpractice and liability, general business insurance, liability, fire, theft, New York State law, attain a business and personal liability insurance. Did you all know
You
that?
must, you must.
Okay. Okay, as Diane DaCosta said, you must.
Yes, you
Right?
must.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the people who don't license their personal self, that's a mistake too.
It's malpractice and liability.
Yes,
Personal.
personal.
That's your personal insurance you must have.
You must have that, yes. And that's really important. So
And you can't get that without a license.
you can't. Diane,
Okay.
I'll do the thing for you.
Okay, hello everyone again. How are you? So yes, I already told you who I was, but roll the tape, please. So my book, Textured Tresses, was published by Simon & Schuster in 2004. And texture, the word texture, was not synonymous with our hair, as in how you see and feel, wavy, the shape, the touch, the feel. So wavy, curly, coily, afro textures was never taught or even imagined as it grows on our hair. So my book, Textured Tresses, was the first book to actually identify the word texture as associated with patterns, textured patterns, curl patterns. And we already talked about the cosmetology book, as in 2022, it included texture into the curriculum, right? Only in the book, right? It wasn't the law that they had to teach it in cosmetology school, even before, when they had and braiding and hair services. There was one chapter before that still was not taught in the schools for the last 50 years. So in 2022, Milady updated, and I was part of one of the stylists who updated the first time in 2013, and then in 2014, inclusively, which included consultations on textured hair, how to identify textured hair, explaining the chart through the patterns, right? And also updating twisting methods, locking methods, and braiding methods. Now, just to let you know, in cosmetology school, you're only gonna get a foundation. You're not gonna go through a full course of natural hairstyling and braiding. That is what you get in the natural hairstyling license. So you'll touch on it in cosmetology, but you're not gonna get the specialty of the license. And, okay, she passed. I was still talking about that. Okay, so in 2022, I also partnered with Tresemme to also introduce a texture certification program, which I also offer on my website. And if you become a member of the NHBC, you will get the foundational course complimentary, and then you will also have a discount on the full texture, digital, and in-person classes through the NHBC. Okay. So what barriers have you experienced in becoming licensed? Are you licensed now? Is anybody licensed now? Are you licensed? Are you licensed?
Through here.
Yes. Are you licensed?
I'm not licensed through here, but I'm licensed in what I'm doing.
And what is that?
For I'm actually hair like specialist license, but not for like braiding anyone's hair and all that stuff.
Wh-
You have to take a class.
Where did you get licensed?
Online class, but it's an accredited school that you have to do a whole bunch of different.
Here in New York
Um,
or another state?
Another state,
Okay.
but it's welcome in New York.
Okay. So
But
you,
it's not in reference to braiding, like in this.
well, natural hair styling
Yeah.
license encompasses natural hair care, twisting, braiding, all of it.
And it does with the different texture.
Yes. So your license is in what state?
It's in New York,
You have a license in New York?
but not for as this. It's something totally different.
You have a certification. You have a certification and you went to a accredited school. Can I ask you what school you went to?
I can talk to you after.
Okay, so you went to oh, okay, okay, I get it. So you went to a school, you have your accredited 300 hours, correct? More or
It's
less?
not 300 hours in this area. There's nothing in this area. That's what I'm saying. It's something totally different.
Okay, so if you
That's
did,
a formulaic hair care product. So you have to be all the information that you gave here before. I have to have all of that.
Yeah.
I have personal liability, etc.
you have the 80 hours. You have the 80 hours of the natural hairstyling license. You don't have the 220 of the natural hairstyling license. Okay, so for you, that would be your barrier is really not a barrier because you have the half of it or the 3/4 of it that would be that would go towards the 220 of the rest of the license for you to get certified so that you would be able to take the written and the practical, right? So you have some of it. Okay, that's excellent. So that's why we're here, because we're going to usher you in and assist you in moving forward with getting your New York State license through whatever program we have to help you do that. Okay, does anybody else know what other barriers there are or can think of what barriers you would experience in becoming licensed in New York State?
Aspect of the license. So like finding either like some type of grant or having to save in order to go to a natural hairstyling school. So
Okay, so a barrier would be the cost, which is the biggest, I guess, barrier at this point. And there's several schools in New York right now that cost anywhere from $3,500 to $8,000. So unfortunately, New York State, with our license, 300 hours, it's not eligible for, the grants, the New York State educational grants, because it has to be 600 hours, right? So we have 300 hours, and that is something that we're working on in the new bill, 7924, the natural hair care and braiding license, to offer apprenticeship so that you can work and go to school and take your 100 hours in school, and then you would have the 220 hours in salon. So you would get that equivalent while you're working and learning with a guided program. So that is part of our bill right now that we're advocating for, and it is in the legislative house of the Senate and the Assembly right now. So we will, the session is over for this year, so we will be picking that back up in October and January of 2027. So that was one of the solutions. And then the NHBC will be offering scholarships towards one of the schools, and that could be part of your solution. It could help you move forward in that arena. Okay, so pathways to a natural hair license. We have salon braiding apprenticeship, which I just went over. We have braid work experience towards the license, which would be what you have sort of with some of your hours. And that would be the entry level braiding experience and or working while you are going to school. And then you have the new braiding license, which is the natural hair care and braiding license. Excuse you. Bless you. And so right now, the language barrier has already been removed by the Department of State. So technically, the barrier, the language barrier was like Wolof and other African languages. So that has already been established, and when you go onto the website and apply, it will pop up that you want to take it in that language if you are an African braider. And then the program that we are advocating for will be in person or virtual, that 100 hours. So it will be a hybrid program where you're actually working in the salon and then you can take classes online or in person. You will have to take your practical, the practical workshop in person, but you would want to do that because you want to get that hands-on. So the traditional license is 300 hours, instruction, written, and practical exam, and you have to have a medical exam. So that is going to remain the same. The difference now is that we're introducing the apprentice license, again, where you're working and taking your hybrid or your in-person classes. Texture is the future is now. What do you think that means? What do you think that means about texture is the future is now?
People are embracing their natural hair and being more, they have more information or educating themselves on their health.
Yes, yes. So as we know, hair, natural hair is textured hair, right? You start with, we all have natural hair. We all have textured hair. How do we take care of it? How do we nurture it from the inside out? Beauty, health, and wellness, as well as the future of texture could be going to a new license if we introduce shaping and cutting into the program at some point. So we have an apprentice, we have hair care, we have scalp care, we have all the styling and the braiding, and we could move into that area of shaping and cutting because that is part of healthy hair and that is part of texture with no chemicals, right? So the future is very bright for texture. We already know it's a $13 billion industry. We already know 58% of minorities are entrepreneurs and they are women. And we know that there is billions of dollars for us to grasp and to achieve, right? And if you own a salon like all of us have and do, if you are a solopreneur like you can be here at New York Beauty Suites, you can make 100 grand yourself easily. But if you have an apprentice, if you have an assistant, if you have other people working for you, 2, 3, 4 chairs, you can make up to 5, 6K, 100K, right? 500K a year or more, right? The more you share, the more you train, the more you bring in others under you, which we've all done through our whole career. In my first year of opening my first salon, which is 1996, I did like 300K with 4 stylists. Diane did way more. Deborah as well. That was just in my first year, right? So you think about it. I mean, obviously times have changed, but it's still statistically you're making anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000. Depends on how many people. But you must be licensed to do that, right? You have to be able to instruct others. You have to learn how to be an educator, take classes, and move the industry to the next generation. So what's next? We have the NHBC is supported by all of these members, right? We're on here, we have Models of Color Matter, we have the Black Women of Political Club, who we started with so that we can become advocators. And we have the Center for Law and Social Justice behind us. And we also have Main Moves Media. So, and we're all up on here. I Love Braids Day, Emerge, Simply Beautiful, and where's Erin? STEM. Hair STEM is our other member. So how do you get involved with the NHBC, right? You can follow us first and foremost. Everybody take out your phones and follow us at the NHBC. You want to join our mailing list as well as become a member. Like I said, when you become a member, you get other perks. One of them is that you'll be able to take my digital course on natural styling and the foundation of natural hair care and textured hair. And you can volunteer for all of the events, which will also give you credit towards membership because membership does have dues, yearly dues, right? We do have an event coming up, a few events coming up this summer. I will be, and the NHBC will be partnering with CUNY School of Medicine to hold a health, wellness, and beauty event. Tonight there's one in Harlem at Renaissance Curls, and we have the next one will be at my salon, Simply Beautiful, on July 13th, and Deborah is hosting an event in August. What date is yours, Deborah? August 15th? Yes, so in August, there'll be another event, and they're all called Hype Hair. Hype Hair, these are all the events that are accumulating around CUNY Medicine, the NHBC, and We Act, the Beauty Justice Act. Also, is that the last slide? Deborah has the International I Love Braids Day, and she'll talk more about that. Let's talk about that now.
CUNY is August 16th at my salon. So I hope you save the dates for each one of our events coming up. And International I Love Braids Day is happening starting July 25th at Restoration Plaza. And that is the full explosion of all things hair braiding, right? With live shows on the runway. We have 2 new activations. We have a glam station where you can come and get your hair adorned. We also have a balloon healing wall where you can put down some of the things that, the negative things that you had as it interface with your natural hair. You can write it on the wall and then encounter some healing. In addition to that, we have just a full packed day of fun with games and lots of giveaways and really great vendors. The next day we have a day at the beach, so it's braids and
Can you hear us now?
relaxation.
No, sir.
Then our next day on
We
the
have to log off 'cause I don't know.
29th, which is the actual day of
Sorry.
International Isle of Braids Day, is held here at New York Beauty Suites. And that is a fundraiser. It's anywhere from $20 to $50, depending on how much you want to contribute. And we'll have a session very much like this, interactive, where you'll have more information, more education. We'll have a hair show, and we'll have some light bites and treats. So I hope you support me in that manner. And just really follow up with the Natural Hairstyle and Braid Coalition. As both Diane said, we're always doing something. We need your support. We need your body. We need your hands. We need your mouth to share the word. It's important. We can't do this alone. We have been doing this for as long as each one of us have been around. We need you, right? We need everyone that is watching this to join us.
And all of you online. And you can go to _NHBC in our link tree, and we have a petition for the bill A7924A, which is the Natural Hair Care and Braiding License Act. So that is a very important petition for everybody to sign up, to let our legislators know that we are here. We want our license to be moving forward, advanced, increased, and more pathways for the next generation to be educated in all ways possible. Diane? Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody online. I hope you can hear us now. Again, the NHBC is at _NHBC. We are at the nhbcoalition.org, where you can sign up for our monthly meetings, the petition, as well as becoming a member.
We do have a final question for you. Diane, you want to go to that slide? Oh, that was in it. Yes. Diane, you want to ask?
Based on our presentation, by a show of hands, do you support licensure? Based on our presentation today. And if you could just elaborate a little bit, why do you think that licensing is important?
Well, I feel that the reason why licensing is very important, just like anyone who goes to cosmetology school, it's the same thing. You're dealing with people's hair, their health, their scalp, everything. So, plus, you are able to educate your client, instead of just saying something off of your head because of what you know from way back in the days when your parents used to do your hair. Now you can give them vital information, especially when you were talking about alopecia, any kind of thing that's going on with them. And they just want to just buy a hair care product, not knowing that it is more than that. So licensing is very important, and it protects you as well, because we live in New York, and New York loves to sue.
Suing, the S word that no one wants to hear, and that's licensing and insurance, right?
Yes, I think licensing is important because we need uniformity across our industry. Uniformity for the stylists, for salon owners, for the, she mentioned not just the services, but not the health, the systems. The systems. We need the systems, and people don't know that because that's not taught in school. So that is something that's very important. The systems to keep your
Procedures and
Right, to keep
protocol,
your clients
procedures,
safe,
and
yes.
business etiquettes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why it's so important.
Can you pass it to her? Jolicia.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I would say licensing is important based on all of this and based on what I know from you guys so far. Because, yeah, you just want to make sure that you're protecting the client and you're putting the consumers first and you're doing what's best for them. I feel like as an aspiring hairstylist, this session was very informative in allowing me to step into that world and to once again emphasize how important that is to make sure that people are put first and that their health is put first.
Thank you. Diane?
Well, well, I want to thank everyone for participating, asking questions. For those people who have been online, again, please reach out to us, text us, or email us,
DM us.
DM us, follow us. We're not going anywhere. We are here. This is who
We're
we are.
building. We're building.
Yeah, this is who we are. I mean, I've been doing this all my adult life, and I'm going to have to sit down sometime. And I would love,
Not from the NHBC.
right? And I would love to pass the baton over to the next generation, so that because this is a this is real. This is a love, and it's real, because we're in a society where we make so much money for an industry. Yeah, we make so much money for industries, and they still don't honor us in the way we should be honored. So that is even more
Yeah.
reason why we need smart, intelligent men and women who
Ownership. Ownership.
ownership, okay? Instead of getting that car, that you want so badly because it gives you status, save a little bit more money and get a down payment on a condo. Because those are the things that matter. That's going to escalate you to the next level, not the car.
Own your building.
Own the
Own your
building.
salon. Own your building.
Stop just trying to, skate. Do the long haul, right? This is the long haul. This is the long haul, exactly. So if you want to open a salon, okay, open your salon. You can rent for a while, but eventually you have to buy. You have to buy. Buy where you work, buy where you live, buy something, doggone it. I don't care if it's a condo, co-op, something. Ownership is key.
Buy a home and build your salon in your home.
That's it.
That's allowed as
Yes,
well.
yes.
Business
So
in your
don't
salon.
underestimate. A lot of people come out and they want to just open up a salon. The economy is not doing that right now. People need to come to the suites. Baby steps. It took me 6 years to leave my apartment and get a salon. 6 years. I had a mailing list that's over 300 people, but it took a minute. But then as it grew and grew and grew, I was able to stack and save. I'm a saver. Some people buy shoes. I like, making sure I got money somewhere in a shoebox. Okay, that's my thing, right? So I'm saying this to you, and I'm hoping I'm speaking to people who get this, that it's not just about doing hair. This is more than hair. I want you to understand that hair is the portal that you're going to go through to get to the other side of your success. But it is just one step to success. And I really think that, the people who are home watching it, don't underestimate your power by being in your home. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate our people who are home, and we are here. So reach out. We have a little snacky for you so we can snack, and then have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
I do want Diane to end on this story because I love this story.
What story?
It's so powerful. When you were talking to Tulani, and you said, "We did it."
Okay.
Okay.
So we heard there was a license that had to be done, and we went through all the things, right? It was amazing because we got the license because the nail people had a petition to get a license. So
And when you say we, What do you mean when you say
Okay,
we?
so we opened, okay, so
We.
we had an organization called the International Braiders Network.
Yes, we did.
Oh, old school.
Yes, we
Old
did.
school, right? I was a part of that. And I had a sister who was my mentor, Tulani Kennard, Etta Mandela,
Yeah.
and Esmeralda Simmons lobbied, and we got the license. And I said to her in the elevator coming down, I'm so excited. This is awesome. I was like almost in tears. So emotional, right? It's over. I said, it's over. We did it. And she looked at me. She was like, this ain't over. This will never be over.
32 years later.
Because the work continues, and that's why that story is important, right? And when I said we need you, we do need you.
Yeah, we need you.
Because the work continues. It doesn't
We've been standing up here for 32 years, getting a license passed. Then they want to reduce it, and then
They want to take it away.
They want to take it away.
deregulate.
You can't leave it alone. It's like a child. If you leave it alone, your property might be vandalized. It's real talk. People don't want us to be validated. They want us to they want to ignore our needs. But we can't ignore that. We can't allow that to happen. So that's where advocacy comes in. That's where the coalition comes in. That's where the education comes in. Yes, you can be in your home and you could be safe. But we are here trying to make sure that our industry thrives. Because it's thriving for everyone who makes that dollar. The Asian salons, the Asian shops with their products, we need to have our own beauty supply stores.
Yeah,
we need to have our own sources of how we are going to manifest.
And we do. We have beauty supply stores.
Yes, we do.
All throughout the country. So we
need
to
more. Yeah.
Support.
Support.
These,
And the
beauty
other
supply
thing
stores.
is, the one thing I want to leave us with, okay, stop reading the commercial of your product. Read the back of the label. That's where the information is. Stop reading the front. The front is just the commercial to get you to buy. I want you to read the back of the label, because the back of the label is 90% truth. There's still maybe 10% where it ain't all truth. But 90% of it's true. If you see, the one thing I want you to realize something. If it says fragrance, you don't know what it is. That's by the state law. They can put anything in fragrance and label it fragrance.
And that's why the Beauty Justice Act is so important right now.
And that's
because we're
why.
advocating to take out the chemicals in beauty products across skin care, hair care, cosmetics, so that you don't have to read so hard to understand what is going on in your products. You still have to read it because it's all scientific.
Yes.
They put it in scientific language, but there's also apps.
Yes, there's
that
apps.
will make it easy for you to understand.
EWR is an app that you can put in your phone, and when you go to the beauty supply store, you can scan the product, and it will say red, yellow, green. Red meaning no, yellow meaning maybe, and green meaning yes, it's safe. And I want you to live that way, yes. I want you to get that. I want you to pass this EWG. Sorry. Yes, EWG. And then there's also Yucca. You got Yucca? Okay. And the reason why this is even more important is because they're finding links to our hair products, not just the hair itself, but scalp issues, inflammation on the scalp, dermatitis, seborrhea dermatitis, all kinds of things are happening because they're putting so much in the product to make it more manageable, so that we can store it, they can store it longer. They have a lot of preservatives in it. And it's really, really something that we need to be aware of. So regardless to what you might think, it's not just relaxers that are giving us uterine and, what's the other cancer? Oh, starts with an O. Ovarian. could be some of our beauty products. Definitely. Yes, I'm just saying could because, I don't know who's watching. Uh, But we love this industry so much, and we love our community so much. We want you to be a part of it. For those people who are not here, please reach out to us. We are available. Deborah's going to have an event coming up soon, and we're so excited. Please come and ask questions. So please have a bite to eat, and thank you for coming. It was good?